What do you do when your hydroponic system works too well? I'm standing here looking at a beautiful chili plant that's literally broken under the weight of its own success. The main stem has snapped clean through and there are dozens of chilies just hanging there. This isn't the kind of problem most growers face, but it's shown me that even after years and years of growing, there's always something new to learn. I'm going to walk you through what went wrong, what went right, and introduce you to a new support system that I'm going to try that might just solve this once and for all. We're also going to be taking a look at the ChilliChump Seed Kit and see how they're doing, the 6 different varieties that hopefully you guys are growing along with me at home. And we'll also take a quick look around at some other plants inside the different grow spaces. Here is the plant in question. It's a Cayenne, and it was standing, well, it was standing at about 5 feet high. And I was actually standing here, I know you guys aren't going to believe this, but I was standing in here doing some things, sorting out some hydroponics, nutrients and that. I was nowhere near the plant, and I just suddenly heard a bit of a snap, and it broke right in front of me. Here is the branch in question. Look at that, just laden with chilies. Beautiful, lovely, big Cayenne. Very sad. So yeah, there's probably about, there's at least 1 kilogram of chilies, I would say, on there, green. I might do something with them, but yeah, just chalk it down to a lesson learned. Now, I did have a few things, because I did post this on Instagram yesterday and Facebook, and I had a few people saying, oh, can't you just graft it on? I probably could, but it's not guaranteed to work. The other suggestion I had was just putting the stem over here inside some water and letting the roots start. But yeah, that's fine. I just don't have any spare hydroponics pots, so I can't really do that. But I'll just use it as a lesson learned and make sure that I don't let it happen again. So the reason this has happened, my hydroponic system is obviously optimized for accelerated growth. And that's the whole point of hydroponics. You're trying to get the fastest growth possible. So you're optimizing absolutely everything. You're optimizing not just the nutrient uptake, but you're also optimizing the oxygen flow and that sort of thing for the roots. That's probably the more important aspect of this. Obviously, nutrients and that matter. But everything is optimized for this to work as quickly and as well as possible. So obviously, you don't just want quick. That's often a mistake that some people make when it comes to hydroponics, not necessarily chilies, but things like tomatoes that you buy in the supermarkets. A lot of those are grown hydroponically. And when you grow them too quickly, they can lose quite a lot of the flavor. So if you grow tomatoes at home and you compare them to stuff you buy in the shops, they taste completely different. Same thing with lettuce and things like that. And that's not because of hydroponics necessarily, but that's because of the industry that want to just get the quickest growth possible with the cheapest outlay. So they don't do the right amount of nutrients, the micronutrients, macronutrients. Anyway, this is the plant. Very sad. And it's not actually the first one to go. The other reason I wouldn't want to try and get the roots to take up again on that stem is because with the temperatures we're having right now, I don't think it would actually survive. It needs some of the root system already to be able to start taking up water to support the current leaves and that sort of thing. And if we take a look at this plant, you'll see why. This one here had also fallen over because I hadn't supported it. And in fact, we have another one down here that I need to support because it has fallen over. I'll show you how I support that in a bit, so it's not a complete waste. But this here, this plant, it had fallen over and some of the roots had been severed. So I was able to put it back into the system, and it did have some of the root system left on it. So it has been able to support itself. But you can see it's not doing brilliantly right now. But that root system is still establishing itself again. So this plant does have a chance, and I think it'll do just fine in the end. Let's take a look at this plant, which I'm going to have to support because it has fallen over, and hope to goodness that we haven't got too many broken roots. And I'll show you how I do it at the moment, and then I'll talk about how I'm going to be doing it in the future. So there you go, this has been strung up. Hopefully it recovers all right and it hasn't got too much damage to the roots. I don't think it has, so I think we should be all right. I honestly didn't even know it had fallen over. I just saw it while I was filming for you guys. So we'll see how that goes. We'll update you in future videos, but I think we should be all right with that one. Sorry, I had to come out of there. It is absolutely roasting. We're sitting at around 48 degrees Celsius inside the polytunnel, and it's pretty similar inside the greenhouses. So excuse the sweating. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take you inside Big Chump. We're going to have a quick look at another Cayenne, which is grown in a pretty big pot, and it was started at a similar time to the one here in the hydroponics. And you can just see the difference in growth. Now, I'm not too fussed because the growth will catch up in Big Chump, but when the plant does grow slower, the branches, the wood on the actual plants are able to grow a bit stronger. So obviously when it's growing very rapidly, it's not going to have as much strength as it will do when it's a slower growing plant. So that's one of the issues we're going to be seeing, why we're seeing branches snap off here, not necessarily branches snapping off inside my soil plants. So let's go take a quick look and you can just see the actual difference here. I'll bring the branch with me as well. Here is a Cayenne plant in a 10-litre pot, started at a very similar time to the one in the hydroponics. That's the extent of it. One thing you will notice, obviously, is there are some ripe Cayenne chilies on there. But let's compare that to this branch that's fallen off, and that's not the whole thing, right? And you can see just so many more chilies, and in fact these chilies look a little bigger as well. But such a big difference growing hydroponically versus growing in soil. This plant will catch up as the season progresses. We did have quite a bit of aphid damage in here, which has probably set back a little bit, but that's now been resolved, and we should see this come into its own over the next month or so. But yeah, big difference between the two. But you can see this thing is going to be growing a lot slower. These branches are going to be a lot stronger. Even though I do have support on them because they were kind of leaning over, but that was more to do with just how hot it's been. But there you go. Something I don't mention very often is the fact I have Patreon and YouTube memberships. In fact, I cannot remember the last time I mentioned it in a video, so I thought I'd quickly mention it here just in case you didn't know. It really helps me keep making these videos, keep bringing you the content that I bring you. Those of you that support me on Patreon and YouTube memberships, you're the ones that allow me to keep making these videos, so thank you so much. And if you are able to support me, please go check it out and see what you can do. But there is no pressure whatsoever. I appreciate every single one of you, any way that you support me, whether it's just subscribing to my channel, watching a video, liking a video, commenting. It all means something to me. Thank you so much. But if you are able to support me on Patreon or YouTube memberships, please go check that out. What am I going to be doing going forward for the supports of my plants? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward, and many of you are probably using this method already, especially if you're out in the US. You have easy access to something called Cattle Grid. Now, in the UK, we do get something called Cattle Grid, but it's not the same thing that you guys have. It's not as strong, and also the holes, the gaps in between the wire are a lot narrower here in the UK. So trying to find something that was going to work, because I want the holes big enough that I can get to the plants, that it doesn't constrict them too much. To get something like that was just, I was finding it really difficult. But thanks to some comments that I got, especially Capsicum Connoisseur, I think it was, on Instagram, thank you so much. He sent me a link to a company, I think it was called 4Wire, and I was able to find some. It's not the same cattle grid as you guys get in the US, but it's 20 centimeters by 12 centimeters, the gap. So it's far bigger than anything I've seen in the past. Most of them are 7.5 centimeters. Those are the biggest gaps I could find. So this one I have put in an order. Hopefully I'll be receiving that, I think, tomorrow. And then we'll work on it maybe this weekend or next week and try and create some cages. I've got a lot of cages to make. There are 40 plants in here, and there's another 20 hydroponics plants that I need to put supports on. I'm not going to use it for my soil plants, or maybe I will actually on some of my larger pots, the ones that I grow my monsters in. That would be quite useful. But for general use in my soil pots, I'll just stick to using what I've always done, which is bamboo canes, basically. So I will make a video showing you how I use it. I believe Peppadew, who has also been very helpful with this, thank you. He's, I think, going to be putting out a video soon showing how he uses these cages, so go check him out. And yeah, we'll update you and see how they work out. I think I've got a lot of work ahead of me. But yeah, that's the plan, and hopefully that will stop these sort of heartaches from happening in the future. Let's start off in ChilliChump and take a look at my Turkish flower. So this is one of the ChilliChump Seed Kit plants, and look at that. Gorgeous. So this specific plant, what it does is it creates little clusters of chilies like you see here. Started obviously in the middle. These will ripen to red, but you can see, oh, it's just such a beautiful plant. The weeds are not beautiful. And you can see all these little clusters that develop. And yeah, it's just such a perfect specimen. And we'll definitely be getting some seeds from this one. But look at that, it's just gorgeous. And yeah, this will ripen up probably in the next couple of weeks. We'll see this ripening to red, and these will follow shortly after. But man, that's looking gorgeous. While we're inside ChilliChump, let's take a look at my CC Jigsaw brain. So we've got a couple examples here. This plant over here is one, and one over there. Now, I didn't expect these to have fully grown fruit just yet, because they are Capsicum Chinense and they take a little bit longer, but we have got some starting out. We've got quite a few flowers coming through. The plants are still relatively small, but yeah, it's looking lovely and healthy. And with this beautiful temperatures that we're having at the moment, you'll see these just take off. But yeah, loads. Actually, we have got some pods coming through over there. And by the way, if you have bought seeds for this from somewhere else, I know another seed vendor is selling seeds, which is not a problem at all. Just remember that it might be a much older generation. This here is at F6, so it is fairly stable. This year will be fully stable, so once I isolate from my plants this year, we'll have a fully stable variety. So just keep that in mind if you are seeing some different sort of things going on with your plants than what I show over here, because like I say, it is still stabilizing. But yeah, this is beautiful. Yeah, we've got those coming through, we've got loads of flowers, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of fruit within the next month or two. If you're in the UK, this weekend we're forecast to get about 33 degrees Celsius temperatures, which is pretty extreme for the UK. It's toasty as hell today, and I think it's only about 26 degrees. I'm sweating like crazy, obviously inside the polytunnels and the greenhouses, which if you're in the UK, you probably are growing inside a closed space like this. Your plants are going to suffer unless you take some precautions. Now, I wrote an article, it's up on my website, it's the latest article there, I'll link it down below as well. But if you are growing in a place that is getting some hotter temperatures, have a read of that article, it'll help you out, it'll give some good advice. No reason for me to rehash it here in this video, so down below, click on that link and give you some advice, especially before what's coming this weekend. You want to make sure that your plants survive. Let's head into Big Chump and take a look for my Nagamoric. It is in R3, so you can see I label each of these areas as R1 for this space here, then R2, R3, and then R4 at the end. So R3 is over here, and it is number, which one have we got here? Number 293, so let's take a look. 293, where are we? It's this one right here. So this is a Nagamoric, another Capsicum Chinense, some beautiful hot chilies. So we don't expect too many fruit just yet, if any. We have got a few developing, so some of the flowers have pollinated. So we will get some fruit off there, but it's still going to be a little while before we see anything properly developed. So yeah, that's still looking lovely and healthy. The Nagamoric can get rather large, but that's looking stunning. We have got some Capsicum Chinense coming through as fruit. So over here, loads of early ones coming through. You'll see down there. Let's see which plant this is. So it's number 49. Let's give it a quick scan with Seedsio. So it is a 7-pot brain strain yellow. This is a plant that holds a special place in my heart, because one of the first hot sauces I made that I sold was using these. And we even have a little ripe one over there. So this is fruited very, very early. It's a lovely, lovely plant and extremely hot. So pretty pleased with that. Yeah, very, very early fruiting for Capsicum Chinense. So the plants on this shelf here are all Capsicum Chinense. Obviously I have Capsicum Chinense elsewhere, but all of these here are the hots and super hots. So another ChilliChump Seed Kit plant is the Padron. And there's one over here in L2, number 314. 314. Be a yellow tag. 314. It's this one over here. And look at that. We have some fruit coming through and some fruit that are ripening up. So this needs a good watering. When the fruits are coming through like this and the weather's like it is, it's going to be sucking up that water so quickly. But there we go. We've got some of these pods coming through. The plant's doing well. Few leaves that have got damage. It'll most likely be from my aphid infestation, which you can see a little bit of the residue of it over there, but they have been sorted out. No more aphids. And we've got plenty of hoverflies and ladybugs and stuff sorting things out for me, thank goodness. But yeah, we've got some lovely pods on here starting to ripen up as well. Let's head on over to ChilliChump for the Serrano Tempequino, the last of our ChilliChump Seed Kit plants. And it is in L2, number 325. We've got all the doors open everywhere because it is steaming hot right now. L2, 325, there it is right there. It's still quite young. What's interesting with the Serrano Tempequino, it's a bit different to the normal Serrano. It actually seems to be like a Capsicum pubescens type plant. It has furry leaves. I've always found that quite fascinating. But apparently it's not a Capsicum pubescens. So a bit confused there. We have the pods coming through already. Look at that, the little Serrano Tempequino. That plant's looking lovely and healthy. Beautiful. I'm going to show you something I'm stupidly proud of, and that is my lovely CC Jalapeno. This is my own breed that I've created, and look at the size of that already. These are just stunning. Can't wait to make some jalapeno poppers out of them. The plant's still got a long way to go. I was tempted to take these pods off to, force the plant to grow a bit more, but I actually just really want to eat some jalapenos. So early season jalapeno is always a good thing. But this plant will just do amazing. Give it another month and it'll be double, triple the size even. But yeah, we're going to pick some of these, I think, this weekend and have them on the barbecue. Stunning. Talking about jalapenos, unfortunately the Matapino is still in the same state. I've tried watering it more, watering it less. I've tried shading it. I've tried a whole bunch of things. The fact it's still alive, I guess that's a good thing. And we might get some fruit off it, but it's just not doing extremely well. It's a very pretty plant. You can see some of those leaves down there. It's got a bit of aphids going on there, which will go away, but yeah, not doing brilliantly. This plant's doing nicely. What is this? Beautiful big old leaves. Let's give it a scan. Oh, Peppadew, of course. Always does well. And we have a monster Peppadew growing. I'll have to do an update on that in a future video. But look at this, all that lovely internodal growth down there. Just what you want to see. Beautiful plant from such a small pot. So all the pots in here and also in Little Chump are all 5-litre pots. And that's on purpose. I don't use 5-litre pots everywhere, but they work quite well in here. It'll give me an earlier harvest. And it's also good for just testing, the different harvests. If I compare a harvest that I get from a 5-litre pot to the harvest that I get off a 10-litre pot, and then compare how much soil I'm using and how much space it takes up, how much water and fertilizer and all that I'm using, it'll be interesting to tell the difference, whether it's worth doing 10 litres versus 5 litres. So I'll let you know that at the end of the season as well. A beautiful thing. I think this is a basket of fire. That is another weed. I have to keep picking these damn weeds out. No, it's a KS Lingria. Beautiful. Oh, I should have noticed those pods. Of course, it's a KS Lingria. This is one of Kangstar's varieties. And we'll get some seeds from this for you guys that I include for free in all my orders, as long as I have stock of the KS varieties. We've got the KS Lingria, we've got the KS Lemon Starburst, KS Sweet Queenie. And talking of Kangstar, there might be a little surprise for you guys in a week or two. Lovely. Oh, is this another Peppadew? Look at that, very early fruits coming through on this. Definitely look like Peppadew, and I'm pretty sure it will be. It is indeed Peppadew. Baccatum. Look at these. I'm going to get loads coming through. I don't normally get Peppadew chilies this early on, so I might need to keep an eye on this plant. It might be a good source of seeds. That's lovely. Yeah, I don't have any Peppadews coming through on any of the others yet. But that's a stunning chili. Tastes so lovely. It's my favorite Baccatum. I wanted to show you guys these beautiful plants. So this area here, where it's all fenced off now, it's actually fenced off because there's chickens in there. But beforehand, before we had chickens, we just were leaving this, the entire shape that you see here, we were leaving it as a wildflower or a wilding area. So we're just going to let it grow, not mow it or anything, and throw down a bunch of wild seeds and meadow type seeds. And well, we've definitely got a lot of them coming through now. It took a little while. It took about 3 years before we started seeing anything. And thankfully, the chickens aren't eating a lot of these. But take a look there. We've got some poppies. Those are end-of-life poppies. We've got some more coming through here. Little purple things. I don't know what all these flowers are, to be honest. But they're very pretty. So a lot of them coming through. The chickens seem to eat the fresh grass, so that's a good thing. And we do have weeds as well. We have thistle, which is pretty. I mean, it's a weed to some people, but look at that. It's beautiful. Some more poppies over here. Some more of these flowers. I think, are they called? Actually, I have no idea what they're called. I'm sure you guys in the comments will know, but look at those. Beautiful. Hello, chickens. They're steaming hot at the moment. Probably should get some a bowl of frozen water for them, some ice. They do like it cold, but they're all hiding away in the shade. You girls doing okay? But this area is working out really nicely. I'm so pleased. It's taken a good few years, because the problem is when you use wild seeds in a grass area, they don't really like to take off too well. They need some really rubbish soil, apparently. So it took a little while for that to happen, but yeah, there we go. And hopefully next year it'll be even better, but I'm loving this space. I know to some of you it might not look very neat and tidy, but it's not meant to. It's meant to just look like a little wild space where the chickens are loving it and the flowers are loving it, and yeah, and apparently we have a lot of rats and mice around here as well, but yeah, it's lovely to see. Let's take a quick look in ChilliChump and see what we've got going on. Obviously, we saw some disasters over that way, so we'll look at the good stuff now. We've got loads of fruit coming through here. This is also another Cayenne, and we've got some nice ripe ones there. This one isn't as laden as the one that fell apart earlier, but you can see this has been strung up. I made sure to do that. But even so, we've got to probably support this branch here. We'll take a look at that. But yeah, we've got some ripe Cayenne coming through. And then over here, this is traditionally one of my earliest fruiting plants. It's the Buena Malata or Buna Malata. Let me just confirm it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. It's Buena Malata. And look at those. They start off purple and they'll ripen through to red. And they taste a little bit like Cayenne and not as spicy, but it's such a beautiful plant and beautiful flowers too. And here's a spaghetti chili. So I think it's obvious why it's called that. You see the long, thin chilies. And here you got a long, long, thin chili. But yeah, it's fruiting nice and early as well. That's looking lovely and healthy. So the plants in these raised beds are doing quite nicely. What is that? I think that might be a Kashmiri Mirch. Yep, it is a Kashmiri Mirch. They are very, very delicious and used widely with curries and sauces and things like that. It's such a lovely chili. Definitely would recommend it. Yeah, these are looking lovely. Sometimes the biggest problems in growing come from things going too right. This broken plant I showed you today represents the best kind of challenge to have. When your hydroponic system works so well that plants can't support their own success, you know you've created something special. Now, don't get me wrong, I was highly upset when I saw this beautiful plant broken on the floor with all those lovely pods. That's like 4 months of work nurturing that plant to get it to that point, and then it's just gone. But try and take the positives from these things, try and learn something. As long as you do take something away from it, then it makes it worth it in the end. And it definitely did give me a push to sort out my support system. And of course, all the comments in Instagram and Facebook yesterday from you guys, I appreciate, even the funny ones, but all the suggestions as well. It really did help me out in terms of making some decisions here. Now remember that whether you're dealing with explosive hydroponic growth or planning your support systems, preparation beats reaction every time. Get your supports in place before you need them. Until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and stay spicy.